All right, y'all. The topic today on the video is going to be about planting food plots in the South.
I forgot one thing. Smoke.
So I'm doing things a little bit different today. I'm doing something that we've never done before. I have a special guest. He lives in Kentucky. I live in Louisiana. His name is Wes Steele. We're going to do a collaboration. He's got a YouTube channel. It's called DIY Food Plot Pro. He's got all the stuff you need to know about planting food plots. He's very knowledgeable in the food plot area. So y'all check him out. Make sure that you go to his YouTube channel, and on his last video, let him know that Redline Outdoors sent you to his channel. Make sure that you subscribe to him. That way, maybe he'll be kind enough to do another video with us soon. And my light just died, but we're going to keep going. All right, Wes, I'm going to set the scenario for you, and then I'm going to let you take the video. So here in the South, I hunt a lot of pine thickets, pine plantations, select cuts, maybe a log set or something like that. We don't have big areas to plant. We kind of sit on these right-of-ways and wait on deer to cross through, but we need something to make them stop. And a food plot is a great way to do that. They munch through those food plots. That way it'll allow us to get a shot on these deer. And like I say, it's the soil here is very sandy, and we just got these long right of ways. You know, they might be high lines, pipelines, log sets, logging roads, and stuff like that. We don't have real big areas to plant like a lot of you guys do in the Midwest. So that's the type of areas that we have to plant here. Wes, if you don't mind, give us a couple ideas. If you were to move to the South or come to Louisiana and plant a food plot for me, how you'd go about it. Wes, I'm going to hand the video over to you.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the channel. My name is Wes. I run the YouTube channel DIY Food Plot Pro. I specialize in planting food plots and helping folks with their food plots. I've got a Bachelor of Science in Agronomy. I farm for a living, and I've got a 2,900 acre whitetail deer hunting outfitter in Western Kentucky where we cannot bait. So we rely heavily on these food plots that I produce on the channel to hold and harvest the mature bucks that we are blessed to hunt here in Western Kentucky. Now, when Adam reached out to me about this video, he said, if you move to Louisiana, what would you plant? There's a lot of different variables that go into what we decide to plant on a certain area. And for you folks down south, some just common facts that you may or may not know about the area that you're in. A is typically you're on acidic soils, okay? So lime is going to be the very best way to get the most production out of those food plots. Now I understand a lot of these places are small, hard to get to, but I just wanted to throw that out there at the very beginning. A soil test is also needed to be able to know what kind of soil fertility is in your soil. You really need to know that before you can dive into some of the more complicated plots. For a lot of folks that aren't planting large fields and we're just planting right-of-ways and we're just planting small clear cuts, things like that, we're not going to worry about that so much. So today I'm going to talk to you about some food plots that will do well in those areas without having to put a ton of lime down, without having to put a ton of fertilizer down and make that plot really do well. The main difference between the Midwest and the South is obviously the heat, the dryness, and the soil is typically sandy or heavy clay, highly acidic soils, where up in the upper Midwest we have more loamy soils that are higher in soil pH and higher in natural soil acidity. Okay, so those food plots are going to look totally different than what they would if we're raising something in Louisiana versus we're raising something in the black dirt of northern Illinois. Okay, so that's the first thing that we have to notice, is there's going to be differences there. Okay, so what would I recommend on a plot that you're planting in Louisiana or Georgia or Alabama, Florida, any place like that? I'm looking for something that's going to stay green for a very long period of time, that's going to start feeding the whitetails, that's going to have good attraction in the fall hunting season, but it's also going to feed those whitetails throughout the entire winter. Okay, so the first thing that I'm looking at is I'm going to add oats. Oats are a wonderful food plot. They're highly attractive to whitetails. Whitetails absolutely love them. They're fairly cheap. You can get a 50-pound bag of oats pretty cheap, pretty reasonable. The thing that I like about oats for you guys in the South is this winter kill is not really going to be an issue. Okay, if we planted these up here if we go up to Illinois and Indiana, Ohio, and plant these oats, we're likely going to have winter kill. The winter is too cold for those oats to continue growing. In the South, that's not the case. These oats are going to go all winter long. Okay, so we're going to add oats as the first thing that we're going to add. The second thing we're going to add is some winter wheat. They are both cereal grains, and those are both something that has very good attractiveness to whitetails, and also they will last all the way up until April or May of the following year. So we're feeding whitetails, we're feeding turkeys over a very long period of time. For a lot of my mixes, I recommend mixing in some brassicas, turnips, some radishes, things like that. For the guys down south, I'm gonna kind of miss out on that a little bit, okay? I've talked to a tremendous amount of people down south, and a lot of them claim that the brassicas don't do as well down there as they do here in Kentucky and up north. So what I would recommend for you guys in the South would be to add a mix of some annual clovers. So I'm looking at a crimson clover, and a Kentucky Pride crimson clover is the best clover for you guys to raise. That's got a deep, well-rooted plant that's going to do pretty well in dry conditions. Also going to fight off a little bit of water issues as far as the soil's not draining very good. I'm also going to plant a little bit of frosty berseem clover. That is another annual clover that does really well and has really high attraction to whitetails. So with that 4 mix right there, that is something that you can expect whitetails to really pile into your area. You're into it for not a lot of money, and it is something that is relatively easy to establish. You really don't need a ton of equipment. I know a lot of folks that are dealing with like right-of-ways and stuff, they don't have a ton of equipment. All you really need is some sort of disc or a way to kill that down as far as a sprayer, broadcast into it before a good rain, and these plots are off to the races. So we're looking at about 25 to 50 pounds of oats, 25 to 50 pounds of winter wheat, and then we're looking about 10 to 12 pounds of crimson and 4 to 6 pounds of frosty berseem, and that's all per acre. Okay, and what I'm going to tell you to do, I know a lot of you aren't going to put the fertilizer. I understand that. That's a pain in the hind end. What I'm going to tell you to do is, with this plot, I want you to go and get you a bag of 4600, which is urea, okay? Or anything, if your farm store doesn't have 4600, get 3400. Get something with the first number on that bag is high and there's nothing in the second 2 numbers, the second or the third number, okay? That's going to add nitrogen to this plot. What that's going to do is that's going to make your winter wheat and your oats dark green, and it's going to give them a lush stand, and it's going to push them really high. Okay, so we're going to get a lot more growth out of that plot. Adding that 1 bag or 2 bags per acre is going to be insane, the difference between a spot where you don't put any of that and a spot where you do. If you've got a full acre, put 2 50-pound bags, and then you can come down on that. If you've got a half acre, put 1 50-pound bag, and that is going to make all the difference in the world on how that plot grows and how much those whitetails like that plot. If you want to do a little trial, you can put some of it out there and put a little bit of nitrogen on part of it and don't put some on the other, and you'll visually be able to see the difference, as well as you'll be able to see the whitetails keying in on that difference. That's nutrients that they need, they're going to uptake, and so they're going to eat those plants that are the healthiest, the best looking. So Adam, I appreciate the opportunity and hope this has been really helpful to you guys.
All right, guys, there you have it. That's it for today's video. Wes, I appreciate the insight and the knowledge that you have on planting food plots, and I look forward to doing some more collaborations with you. And Wes, hope to see you soon, and thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next week. God bless. Good luck this deer season. Y'all better get out there and plant them food plots now. I'm almost too late putting out this video, but catch y'all later.